Hola, this is Spanish with Memo. I'm Memo. Gracias por estar aquí. All right, there's lots of information here, okay? I'm gonna cover a lot of stuff in like 3 or 4 minutes. So hopefully you have a foundation of what we're gonna cover. I hope this isn't the first time you're hearing this, all right? Anyway, I'm gonna cover the that clause, all righty? So in English, we casually use the that clause. We sometimes incorporate that, and we sometimes just remove that, right? However, in Spanish, we, for the most part, have to always use the that or que, Q-U-E, que, not the accent que, but without the accent que, all right? So there are some instances where you don't always use que in your that clause in Spanish, but let's just get right to it, all right? Anyway, so I hope that they have fun, all right? I could take out that, right? And I could say, I hope they have fun. I can casually put in that for the that clause. I hope that they have fun, or I hope they have fun. However, in Spanish, yo espero que ellos se divierten, from the verb divertirse, right? The verb to have fun, all right? Remember, in Spanish, you can't have fun, okay? You can't possess fun. So the verb to have fun is divertirse, all righty? That makes sense? You can't tener divertir, right? Tener divertido or whatever. You can't have fun. Make sense? All right. Anyway, but yeah, so the que is that for the that clause, okay? I hope that they have fun. Look here, everybody. I know you know this. Divertirse becomes the subjunctive, right? Because yo espero triggers the subjunctive. It's an emotion that triggers the next clause into the subjunctive. Make sense? All right. Number 2. She is sure that we will like the circus. I could take it out, right? And say, she is sure we will like the circus. I can use that how I want to. However, in Spanish, ella está segura que nos gustará el circo, from the verb gustar, right? So go back and look at the gustar verb to understand when to use and how to use gustar. Anyway, in the negative sense, ella no está segura que nos guste el circo, or nos haya gustado el circo. All right? Using a perfect tense there. Okay? But look, I have to have que to join these two clauses together. I have to. I don't need it here in English. We can be casual with it. All right, number 3 here. The neighbor wants us to knock loudly. Boom, boom, boom. Okay? The neighbor doesn't want that we knock loudly. Okay? It's more natural for us to say it this way. The neighbor wants us to knock loudly. However, if we were insistent upon using the that clause, we would say the neighbor doesn't want that we knock loudly. Make sense? It's less natural sounding, but you can still phrase it that way. I did that just to make the translation into Spanish. El vecino quiere que toquemos la puerta con fuerza. Okay? To knock on the door, use the verb tocar here. Okay? Tocar la puerta. La vecina, the female neighbor, no, el vecino, the male neighbor, la vecina, the female neighbor. La vecina no quiere que toquemos la puerta con fuerza. So she doesn't want that we knock loudly. However, the male neighbor, hard of hearing, wants us to knock loudly. All right? And if you notice, toquemos is in the subjunctive form. Why? Because quiere and no quiere, both of them, triggers that subjunctive. That makes sense? All right, let me go back to this real quick. Why did this one go to subjunctive, but this one didn't? Subjunctive here. Because it's in the negative here. She's sure of it, thus there's no subjunctive. She's unsure of it, thus triggers a subjunctive. All right, it wasn't my intent to go over subjunctive necessarily, but it's the que triggers subjunctive. The main thing was to cover the that clause. All right, I hope that made sense. I hope it added some clarity to maybe if you're studying that in your class or whatever. But if you have any questions on clarity of the that clause, SpanishWithMemo@gmail.com. Muchas gracias. Happy learning. Adios.